To our workshop. We are going to cover this morning different tools in Canvas. So we are going to look specifically at Zoom and the Zoom integration within Canvas and how you can use it for your class. And we are going to also take a look at Kaltura, which is basically a video creation software that is sort of embedded with Canvas and can help you save some time and some space on your computer hard drive. So we will jump right in. I will say, if you do have any questions as I go through, I'll pause periodically, but Lindsay is also here in the chat from CTRL, and she can take care of you there as well. All right, so both the Kaltura and Zoom integrations are found within a Canvas course. So if you're used to Blackboard, you were used to looking on the sort of homepage login screen of Blackboard for the Kaltura tool. But for Canvas, they are both located inside of a particular course. So I'm going to go into my sandbox course just to show you. On the left-hand side, you should have a couple things by default in your course shells. So you should have a Zoom link, a My Media link, and a Media Gallery link. If you don't have any of these or you can't see them, you can go down to this settings here, which is always at the bottom of the left-hand menu, and then click on the navigation tab, which is the third tab over. And here is where you can customize what appears on this left-hand menu. So if you see Zoom down here where it says it's disabled, you can click and drag it up and move it up. Mine are already up there, so I don't really need to move them around. But if you don't see these three in your class, just drag them up to the top half of the page, and then you can click on save, and it will save all your changes. We'll start with Zoom because it's a little more simple, and then we'll do Kaltura second. So the Zoom, you have an AU Zoom account. You can apply, or I guess sign in for a Zoom account with AU. It's free for you to use, it's included. And we also have the Zoom integration in Canvas. So what I mean by the Zoom integration is essentially that we have this Zoom tool that is located within Canvas where you can schedule your class sessions, you can schedule office hours, anything that you want to schedule for the entire class as a whole can be done here within Canvas. And once you do it, all of the links and everything are going to be contained within this Zoom area of your Canvas course. So you don't need to worry about sending a new link out to students every week. You don't need to worry about making sure to remember to post an announcement with the Zoom link. All of it will be contained here, and students can access this space too. They'll do the same thing as you. They'll just go in and click on the Zoom link on the left-hand menu to get to the Zoom tool. All right. So the first time you click on Zoom, if you've never done it before, it may ask you to kind of link Zoom and your Canvas account. It's going to ask you for permission to do that. So please say yes, and then it will basically take your AU Zoom account, take your Canvas account at AU, and mix them together so they can talk to each other. Once you do that, you'll come to this page. So this is where you can control all of your Zoom meetings and recordings for this particular course that you're in. You have a couple tabs here. There's upcoming meetings. So once we create a new meeting, it will show up here. Previous meetings, so you can see I demoed this for somebody else before last week. So I made a bunch of meeting times, and it has automatically moved these to previous meeting. I didn't need to do anything. You have a personal meeting room, which is kind of just always, if you don't want to necessarily create a particular appointment or schedule a meeting with somebody, you can use your personal meeting room. Maybe if you just have a one-on-one time with a student or something like that. This one, you will have to copy this link out to somebody else, because everybody, when they come into Canvas and click on this personal meeting room, will get the link for their own personal meeting room. So students will see theirs, they won't see yours. So if you choose to use this to send to somebody, you will have to share that with them. And then cloud recordings. If you record your class meetings for this particular course, all of your recordings will be located here. All right, so that's kind of the basics. To get started with scheduling a new meeting, there's a nice big blue button over here in the upper right. It says schedule a new meeting. And so this is where you're going to fill out all the information to set up your class meeting. So we can start with our class sessions. I could put a description in if I want, but probably the most important part is this timing area here. We will determine when the first meeting is going to be. Maybe my classes are on Thursdays. Yeah, sure, 10 a.m. is fine. For how long? 2 hours. I will say, if you've never used the Zoom tool before in Canvas, this duration doesn't matter a ton. If you put in an hour and it goes to an hour and a half or something like that, Zoom's not going to cut you off or kick you out. This is just sort of for scheduling purposes to give an estimate to somebody, but it's not a hard stop. You'll want to set up, make sure you get your time zone right. And then for a class, something like a class session where you're going to be meeting every week with the students via Zoom, you can click on this box that says recurring meeting. It's a little bit hidden, but it is kind of set off within these bars that are differentiating the time area. When I click that, it asks for some more information for me. So I can set up a recurrence. I have some options I can do every day. So I said it will start the 26th at 10 a.m. If I say daily, it will make a daily meeting at 10 a.m. every single day. If I can also choose weekly, so say my class is every week on a Thursday for 2 hours, I can choose weekly and then pick what day of the week. So I told it to start tomorrow. I want to change this to say we're going to have our meeting occur every Thursday. And then the end date is essentially when there are 2 options here. So some folks get a little confused about this part, but you only select one. So if I select this one, whatever is over here doesn't matter anymore. If I select this one, whatever is over here doesn't matter. So if I want this to go for the entire semester, I can change the date here and say, all right, we'll have this go till Saturday, December 4th, just to make sure we've got all of our weeks in for class sessions. You can also choose the number of occurrences. So I can say, all right, it's going to go starting tomorrow for 15 weeks, 15 occurrences. Either one will get you the same product, so it's kind of just up to you and your personal preferences. I personally find the calendar a little easier. I don't have to do math and make sure I've got the right, the number of weeks correct. So that's how you would set up a recurring meeting. You can also choose monthly. So maybe it's every last Thursday of the month throughout the semester, something like that. And you can also choose no fixed time. So no fixed time means that link is sort of just always available for people to join. And you and other students can join at any time. You don't need to worry about setting up the exact time for it and the date and the day of the week or any of that. So you do have that option as well. All right, and there's a question in the chat. Can I exempt one date from the recurring meeting? Yeah, so you can't necessarily exempt one of the days while you're setting it up, but I can show you how to delete a certain week afterwards. So I'll keep the Thursday schedule so we can go in and delete, for example, Thanksgiving. All right, you have some security options here. Different faculty members prefer different things. A passcode would have to be shared with students, which will add an extra thing that you have to do to get ready for class. But what you might consider is a waiting room. So students will go into the waiting room first. and you can kind of get ready without them watching you and let them all in when you are ready. A con of that is, like pros versus cons, is that if students are late, you will have to remember to sort of keep an eye on the alert that's popping up and saying that people are arriving to the waiting room, so that you can let them in. So it might be a little distracting for you to have that waiting room. So it's kind of your personal preference. We do recommend some security options for these course links, just so you don't have random students showing up into your class. But again, it's up to you really how you want to set it up. So I'll leave the waiting room on because I like the waiting room. The other option is here that you can set only authenticated users can join meetings. So this means that students will have to log into their AU Zoom account first before they can come into your class. So that's another security option, basically trying to keep it to AU folks only. So that might be, instead of a waiting room, maybe you prefer that sort of a thing. I would recommend that you tell the students that, so they don't think they're getting kicked out or rejected in some way and give up. So I've had some students last year that, they kind of went to a class and it said they needed to log in and they didn't know what to do, so they just quit and didn't go. So I would recommend that you warn them that that's going to happen, and maybe you could even provide a little bit of instruction on how to link up their AU Zoom account or send them to OIT to help them. The audio and video, these are just settings for when somebody first logs in. So I would recommend to keep everybody's video off when they first log in, just because, you don't know people's situations. People might not want to be on camera immediately when they log in. And I would also keep, for audio, I'd recommend keeping telephone and computer audio, because if a student is having internet connectivity problems, they could call in still and at least listen to the lecture, even if they can't see it. And then the meeting options here, you have 3 options. You can enable join before host, which essentially means that students can join the class session before you get there. So kind of like a normal classroom situation where they would come in and talk and wait and hang out. You can let them do that by checking this box. If you want them to not come in before you get there, that's fine too. Just leave that off. You can mute participants upon entry. I would recommend doing that. So when somebody first logs in, their video will be off and they will be automatically muted, so that you don't get somebody like rustling papers or moving around or whatever while you're trying to talk. And then you can also set the meeting to record automatically, so that basically once you come into the room as the host and start the meeting, then the recording will will kick in and we'll go. Excuse me. The last thing here, and then I do see there's a question in the chat, I'll get to that. The last option here is alternative hosts. So this is if you want somebody else to be able to officially start the meeting and kind of control some of the features while you're in the meeting. So if you have a TA, or if you have a co-teacher or something like that, you can type in their email address here as an alternative host. And then they are able to have some control over the meetings as well. All right, so I did have a question in the chat: how do students authenticate? So basically they will log into their Zoom meeting first. So I don't know if you've ever had the situation where maybe you have created a meeting and you go to start it and it says, the host has to start this meeting, and you're the host, but Zoom doesn't know it because you're not logged in. Essentially, it'll give you a prompt that says log in, and you click, and then you can authenticate that way. So basically everybody gets a Zoom account from AU, and it is connected to your regular username and password for AU. So students will log in that way. If you have the waiting room, so there's a question in the chat about the waiting room and enable join before host. If you have the waiting room, I believe that it won't let the students in. I've never officially tested that, but yeah, those two things don't really quite go together, right? So the waiting room, I'm trying to think. I suppose what it could do is there are 2 different screens that show up. So if you click on something that hasn't started, it says, please wait for somebody to start this meeting. You just wait there. But there is a different screen that if the meeting has started, it says you're in the waiting room, they'll admit you soon. So maybe if you had both turned on, instead of getting that one message, it'll just say they're in the waiting room. I think that is probably what would happen. All right, any further questions on how to set up a basic recurring class session meeting for their class? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now it's been created, and if I go back to course meetings, this is kind of, again, back to the sort of home page of the Zoom tool in Canvas. We can see here all of my different sessions that I've set up for Thursdays throughout the semester. So the nice thing here is that the next one that is occurring will always be up at the top of the list. So right now, at the beginning of the semester, there's a long list here. But as these go through, the next meeting will be at the top, and then the next and the next. These that have already happened will get bumped into the previous meeting area. So there's still a record that they occurred, but they won't be cluttering up this upcoming meeting. So that's a nice feature, I think. If we had a question earlier about deleting things, so if you need to delete one of these weeks, maybe you're going, I mean, I don't know about this semester, but maybe you're going to a conference or something like this, or for example, we picked Thursdays, so Thanksgiving holiday is a Thursday. There is the option for any of these meetings that you've created to delete it. It'll ask you if you just want to delete that one date or all of them. So if you delete all of them, you'll have to start over. So I'm just going to delete this one week. So now when I go, that 25th is gone, and we don't have to worry about it. No one will get confused about whether they need to come to class that day. And all you need to do to start your meeting, once you've created your meeting, is click on this nice handy start button. The start button will always be available for the next meeting in the schedule. So I can't necessarily start the meeting for September 30th right now, because it is, for the next one first for tomorrow. So you can see here very nicely, as the instructor of the course, this takes a lot of the sort of administrative logistical work out of getting your Zoom meeting set up. All you have to do, click on that Zoom link in Canvas, schedule your meetings, and then you do the same thing when you're ready for starting the course class session. Click on Zoom and click on Start. Students, I wonder if I could do the student view in here. Yeah, perfect. So this is the student view. It's very similar. It's basically the same thing. Students do not have the ability to schedule course meetings. But what they do is they will just click on the Zoom link on the left-hand menu of your course and click on Join. So they don't have to go searching, every week. They'll come in here, click on Zoom, click on Join. It's a very simple process for them as well as for you. So someone asked in the chat, can we meet using the same link at other times without scheduling? So if you wanted to just sort of create an open space available for the students to meet, you can schedule a meeting that, I click recurring meeting here, that has no fixed time. So basically what the no fixed time thing creates is just one link that is always available, always ready to meet in. You can start it at any time. And I believe, since it is recurring and there is no fixed time, that it won't disappear after you start that meeting. So you can kind of pop in and pop out. That is an option. That would probably be a good option if you wanted to use maybe for office hours, or if you wanted to just have a meeting space available at a glance for your students. You also do have the option of your personal meeting room, but I wouldn't recommend sending out the link to your personal meeting room to your entire class. It's probably a better option to just meet one-on-one with a student, maybe something like that. There is a question in the chat also about how do I share the same office hour link with 3 sections of classes? And I think what you can do Yeah, so when you create a new Zoom meeting, so this is an example I made in office hours with a recurring meeting that has no fixed time, so it's just always available for us to use. It does tell you what the URL is for that. So because the Zoom integration in Canvas is specific to a certain class section, a certain Canvas course, essentially, you can't necessarily have the same tool where you set up all of your meetings across those different Canvas courses. So you can go into each one of those Canvas courses and set up your office hours within that, or set up your recurring class sessions within each of those different Canvas courses or different sections. But it's not going to be the same Zoom link. If you use the Zoom integration tool across all of those different sections, you don't necessarily need to worry about having the same link or not having the same link, because essentially students will just go into their section, their Canvas course, click on Zoom and click on join office hours or join that class session. So you're not having to share the Zoom links with all of them. So I would recommend doing it that way and just setting up those Zoom sessions for all of your different sections within all of your different Canvas courses, just so you don't have to worry about it. Because if you set it up via the Zoom integration in one and then copied this link, you would have to figure out a way to share it then with the other students in the other section. So through an announcement or linking it somewhere in the course or emailing it to them, rather than it just being built into their course. I see a question, how do we use the Zoom integration link? So I'm not sure I quite understand the question, but maybe I have explained it in a confusing way. But basically, when I talk about the Zoom integration, I'm talking about this tool that's built directly in Canvas for you. So this is the Zoom integration in Canvas. And the idea here is that you can schedule meetings with your students and you don't need to ever worry about sending them the link. You don't need to make sure you have the right link, that you've copied the correct link. Basically, you just set it all up and then students click Zoom and then click join. That's all they have to do. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to send them announcements or emails or anything. All right, do we have any final questions about Zoom in Canvas? I can re-explain something or show you how to do something again if you need it. Yeah, so Olga commented in the box. So you also do have the option to go into your Zoom account directly. So not accessing Zoom via Canvas, but you can just log in to Zoom through the web page, and you can create a link that way as well. Okay, I will show you guys how to log in. So if you go to american.zoom.us and sign in, this is where you can set up, if you wanted to just create one Zoom link and use the same link for all of your courses, you can set it up here. You would not then go through this Zoom tool in Canvas. Okay, this Zoom tool within Canvas is built specifically for that Canvas course. All right. If you go into the Zoom web page, your Zoom account here, this is not going to get linked to any course. So this is also an option if you wanted. You would do essentially the same thing. You schedule a meeting, and then that link that it gives you will have to be shared with all of your students. All right, so the idea with the Zoom tool in Canvas is to help you save all of that time, right? Time organizing the links, making sure everybody's got the right link, making sure it's sent to all the students, it's in all the sections. Basically, you just come in to Canvas, set it up, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it for the entire rest of the semester. All right. I don't see any new questions in the chat, so I'm going to move on to the Kaltura tool. So what Kaltura does is it is essentially a video creation tool. The reason that we recommend Kaltura is because it is completely tied in with Canvas. And what you can do with it is you can create videos. They are stored on the server for Kaltura, so you don't need to worry about storing them on your hard drive and taking up that space. Because they're stored on the server, if your computer crashes or something like this, you won't lose all your videos. And once they are stored on the Kaltura server, they can be embedded very easily within your Canvas course. And pretty much you can embed a Kaltura video anywhere in the course. You can put them in announcements, you can put them in assignment prompts, discussion board prompts. What else can we do? You can put them in a quiz as a quiz prompt if you wanted, or you can put them in your modules. You can embed your Kaltura videos there. And last, the other reason that we recommend using the Kaltura tool versus some other tool is that Canvas does have a limit on the size and how many files you can put in. Video files take up a ton of space, and so you will bump up against your course size limit much faster if you're loading video files in versus if you're recording your videos with Kaltura, because they're not stored in your course, they're stored on that Kaltura server. So this is a lot of why we recommend using Kaltura. You also do get AU support. So if you run into issues with it, with either recording your video or posting your video, you can get free AU support for it as well. And the other cool thing about Kaltura is both you can use it and your students can use it. All right, so this is how you get to the Kaltura tool. Is you will go into your course, and on the left-hand side, you'll choose My Media. So if you already have videos, they'll all be here. If you want to make a new video, you do these same steps. So into your course, click on My Media, and then there's this blue, well, teal Add New button. And you have a couple options here of what you can do. So if you already have a bunch of videos for your course and you would like to upload them into Kaltura's server so that they're not taking up that course size space in your class, you can do that with this media upload. So essentially, you just select media upload, find the file off of your hard drive and upload it, and then it'll ask you to name it something. And then the next time you go into Kaltura, once it's been uploaded, it will be stored here and can be easily embedded and moved around in all of the Canvas classes. Express capture is just a very quick thing if you wanted to make a quick webcam video. So it doesn't give you, I'll click on it, it doesn't really give you much options here. You can see, I think it's not letting me do it because my video camera is being used by Zoom right now. But usually it will just basically come up with a preview of your webcam and you click play. You essentially just record right here in the space. So you don't have a lot of options with Express Capture, but if you're just trying to do a quick, flipped it again, a quick, introduction video for your course or for your students, that could be an option that you might want to use. What we recommend is using Kaltura Capture just because it gives you all of the tools that you may need to have on hand to make a good video. So there was the question, is there a time limit for Express Capture? I don't believe so. I think the Express is just getting it set up versus how long the video has to be. So the first time that you click Kaltura Capture, it is going to ask you to download the tool. So you do have to download it to your hard drive or to your computer before you can use the tool, even though you're going through Canvas to use it. So you can download it for Windows or for Mac the first time. And then the next time you come in, once it's already installed, you'll get a little prompt up here at the top that says, do you want to open it? So you don't have to download it every time. If you don't see this prompt, it's possible it didn't download properly. But you should, when you click on Kaltura Capture from that Add New button, you should get this prompt to open it up. So this is what the Kaltura Capture interface looks like. It's pretty simple. So you have 4 buttons across here. The big red one is record. Then you get options for how you want your video to look. So you can choose a screen capture where it's basically just going to record everything that's on your screen. This is good if you want to show students maybe how to navigate a certain website or their Canvas course. If you want to show them how to use a particular software and show them the steps of how to use it, that would be a good choice. If you wanted to do PowerPoint lectures and show them something on the screen while you talk, then you want to make sure that screen is blue, basically, which means it's turned on, and that is what it's going to record. You can also turn your camera on or off. So again, because my camera is being used by Zoom, it says I don't have one currently. But if I was not using Zoom at the same time as I was trying to use Kaltura, I would get a little preview here of my webcam. And then the audio you can toggle on or off. So if you just want to make a quick little video of how to do something without a lot of explanation, you can leave the audio off. But if you wanted to do like a lecture, you would have to make sure you do turn that audio on. So those are the 4 buttons. You can leave it at that. So you can just choose what kind of video you want to make and select or basically turn on what options you would like. But there is another little link over here that says manage, where you can get into a few more details about this. So if I click on manage, it gives me 3 different things here. The first is my library of videos that I've created. The second is settings. So I can choose my camera quality and the name and everything. I can choose if I want to highlight my cursor, so basically the mouse as I move it around, auto minimize. Basically, I can just kind of set all these settings the way I would like them to be. And then the last one is just information. So probably you would only really click on manage if you wanted to get into that settings area and adjust the quality of the video you're making. All right, I'm going to pause real quick here. I see a bunch of things in the chat. Okay, all right, looks like Lindsay's taking care of everything. All right, so I will demo this real quick. I'm going to use screen and audio and do a quick screen capture video. So I'll go ahead and start recording. Oh, sorry, somebody did in the chat say they like to select a certain area. So you can do this as well if you don't want to share your whole screen. So I can make this bigger or smaller, different sizes and widths and things like that. And then confirm if I want to use that. I just prefer using the full screen, so that's what I'm going to do today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start recording. It will count you down. All right, and now we're ready to go. So we are making our recording. I can go through, I can show students different things of whatever I want to show them on the screen. I will say, if you have made it so you're sharing your full screen, everything on your screen will show. So you want to make sure your tabs are closed up and your email maybe is closed so that students aren't seeing your emails come through and that sort of thing. There's a little tracker down here in the lower right-hand corner that shows me how long my video is, shows me my audio is turned on, and then I have some options here to stop it. I can pause the recording if I need to pause it for some reason. I can stop it when I'm finished. Or if I completely mess up and I hate it and I have to redo it, I can just cancel and it'll completely erase everything that I've done. All right, so somebody asked, how do I move between multiple screens? If I have selected to share my entire screen, I can just open up new tabs and do whatever it is I need to do here. I can open up files and all that sort of thing right here. All right, and so yeah, somebody asked, can I pause the recording? So it's this red pause button. So I can pause it, I can, get a drink, cough, whatever it is I need to do, and then resume when I am ready to resume. And somebody asked what the little pencil is. I think the pencil is just to edit what this thing looks like. All right. I'm going to stop. When I click on stop, it's going to ask me if I'm sure if I want to stop. And I can stop recording. So I see in the chat, somebody wanted to go over how to cancel a video. Right, I'll say, no, I don't want to stop yet. I just click on this X to cancel the video. So basically it's just going to delete what I just did. I don't get a chance to save it. I don't get a chance to upload it. It just basically, it's like nothing ever happened. I pretty much just use that if I mess up and want to restart it. All right, I'm going to stop and say, yes, I do want to stop this video. And so you get this window that pops up once you stop. So it shows you the video you've made, how long it is. You can go through. I'm not going to click on play because it's loud in my ears, but I could play the video through and watch the video and make sure I like it first before I upload it. So you do get that preview over here. I can rename it something, which I would recommend because in your My Media space, as you saw, there were a bunch of videos. Having it labeled something or named something that's a little more descriptive and informative for you will make it easier for you to find that video later rather than just Kaltura capture recording August 25th, August 26th, 27th, whatever it is. You don't really have to worry about the description and the tags. You can put them in if you want. The tags will automatically be created for you because Kaltura has an auto captioning tool. So every video you make with Kaltura is going to be automatically captioned. It takes, they say, up to 48 hours. I find that it's usually a lot faster than that, and there's nothing you need to do. So every video, no matter how long, how short, will be automatically captioned. Once that captioning is complete, then the tags will be created for you. It'll take words that you've said out of the video and make tags for them. So someone said, if you don't change the name right now, can you change it later? And that is true, yes. So if you forget to change the name or you're in a hurry or whatever, there is an opportunity to change the name of the video later, I believe. I'm going to click on save and upload. If I click on save, it will only save my video to my computer, which is not what we want. We want those videos up on the Kaltura server so that they're integrated fully with Canvas and that they're easy to embed in our classes. So I want to save and upload. And you'll get a little thing up in the upper right-hand corner. It gives you a progress bar, shows you how close it is to being done. It takes usually a couple minutes, well, a couple seconds to upload, and then it takes a couple minutes to process. So this will go up into Kaltura, and then it will be ready in another couple minutes for us to embed in a course. All right, so it's all done. If I go back into Canvas and click on My Media again, so now we can see included in the list of videos that I have stored here, I have my Kaltura demo. So you don't see a thumbnail yet because it's not done processing. But once it's all done processing, you'll see the video here. If I wanted to edit my video, there's a little pencil over here. And I can edit the name here if I had not had a chance to edit it earlier. Okay, so there are a couple questions about editing the video and editing the captioning, which I can show you. So if I want to edit this video, I can click on this Launch Editor button. I will say the Kaltura editing features are not terrific. They are not as complicated. Basically, Kaltura is meant for a sort of basic user. And so what it has available is not super sophisticated. But this is the editor. You can see your video over here. You can watch it and see maybe where something got messed up. And then you have the timeline down at the bottom here. So you have a couple things you can do with this. You have a split option, you have a set in option, and a set out option. So basically, I can click somewhere in the video, and if I click on set in, it will move the start of the video to that point. Undo that over here with this undo button. If I click, say I want to chop the end off, I can click over here. That's about where I stop. Well, I guess here is about where I stop talking more or less. I can set out, and that will move the end of the video to that point. So those set in and set out are good for chopping off the beginning and the end of your video. So say the part where you're getting kind of ready and get your lecture up and all of that kind of thing. You can cut those that way, set in and set out. And then to split, I believe, what you do here. Okay, yeah, so it has now split this into two different sections based on where my cursor was when I clicked that scissors. And here I can do the same thing. I can kind of like move, you know, if I wanted to cut out this entire chunk in the middle where I was talking and leave it here and kind of take out that chunk, I can do that. So again, how I did that was I just clicked somewhere here, clicked on split, and then I can either click somewhere else on the timeline and use set in, or you can also kind of drag this yellow bar around to cut off a certain chunk. So say we do that. When I'm all finished with my edits, I can save it or save a copy. I usually just save over it. I don't really have any need to save the original if it was messed up in some way. So I just click on save. It does warn you that you're going to permanently overwrite the video that you had just made. All right, and it does say you can close the editor while it's saving, so I don't really need to worry about that. All right, and I'm trying to think of the video that I had was mine. Sorry, I have a couple extra videos in here that aren't really mine, so I don't want to do this, I suppose. That's been already captioned. And where I can go here to edit, I believe, I'm trying to remember how to get to the editing of the captions. All right, so if you click on edit the video, edit the caption. So there's a bunch of different tabs here. I can click on edit captions here. All right, and so here is what the automatic captioning service has done. It looks good so far. I will say that it is not perfect, and it sort of depends on the quality of your mic. So for instance, the mic on my old laptop was absolutely terrible. There would be a lot of background static, and because of that, the caption couldn't understand anything I said ever. If you have a nicer quality microphone, or at least not a really bad one, It is generally fairly accurate. And I know somebody wrote in the chat box that it is not up to standard, but according to the information that we have and the captioning service that we have purchased, it is up to the kind of minimum level for the quality that it needs to be. So what you can do here is you can type right in, you just click into a certain piece of the caption, and yeah, you can edit it there. You can also delete it like this. I don't know why I said that. I may not have said that. I can listen and see if that was supposed to be something else, or maybe I was going hem or something, whatever. And I can just delete that piece if that doesn't really mean anything or matter for the flow. All right, so that's kind of how to edit the captions. In terms of editing the time, you should be able to adjust the time over here on the side as well. All right, and Piper recommends to take a look at titles, countries, technical language, that sort of thing. I do find sometimes names are not great. So you can get in there. Once you edit everything and have it the way you want, you can click on a save button. I didn't make any changes, so it just doesn't have anything in here, but it would have a save button for me. All right, and somebody asked, let me see in the chat here. Somebody asked back to the video editing, like if you cut a chunk of the video out, it will automatically put the sections back together. So you won't have like a dead zone in the middle of your video. If you are very concerned about the transitions, I will say it's just going to end the one and start the other. So you might want to make sure that you've got sort of like a neutral face or something, so it doesn't look quite so choppy. It works better to do that kind of cutting out sections on a PowerPoint lecture video than on a webcam video. It's a little bit easier because if you do mess up while you're recording, you can kind of just pause and wait for a couple seconds, and then that will give you a nice, and restart, and that'll give you a nice place to chop out. That will be a little bit easier. All right, so Chris, as to your question, I am not 100% sure. I guess ASAC might be able to check that, because yeah, I will say, as I'm not the expert on it, but as far as I understand and what I've been told by the company that we have in service who does the auto captioning, that it meets requirements. So I wonder, I mean, let me write down your name. Maybe there's something I can research a little bit on that. All right, and then Miles, your question is Kaltura the best tool for third-party videos? So for other videos that are already hosted on other places, you don't need to use Kaltura for those. So you can just provide a link to a YouTube video, or you can embed the YouTube video directly in your course. So the Kaltura videos are more meant for videos you are creating personally. Some people do want to post the videos that they create on YouTube instead. And so if you have a method for doing that, and that's something you're already doing and it works well for you, you can keep doing that. But if you don't have a system already in place and you're interested in kind of getting started with using some videos for your classes, Kaltura is a nice user-friendly beginner's tool that you can start with. And like I said, it's integrated right into the Kaltura space, the Canvas space. And you and your students can use it. All right, so once I have created a video, if I wanted to put it somewhere in my course, I have a couple options. The easiest one to do, which is what I'll show you right now, is just to embed the video somewhere into your course. And as I mentioned before, basically anywhere where you have a text box with that toolbar, which I'll show you in a second, anywhere that has that toolbar has a little Kaltura button in the toolbar. So you can post your video, you can be very creative with your videos. You can post them in your modules, kind of for students to watch and interact with that way. You can create video assignments, video quiz prompts, discussion board prompts. You can have your students respond via video as well. They also have access to Kaltura, and they can do the same things that you do. All right, so I'm going to show you real quick. I'm going to create a new page for my module. I'm going to call it video. Let's call it whatever. Project scheduling. It's not really, but that was already there. So to edit this page, I'm going to click on the title of it. And there's a little edit button over here on the upper right. And so this is the toolbar I was talking about. So basically anywhere where you have space in Canvas to type and input text, you also have the ability to embed your Kaltura videos. The easiest way to do it is there's this little rainbow symbol. It looks almost like a sunburst or something. If you click on that, it will embed your Kaltura media directly. It will pop open my list of videos. So this looks exactly the same as my media page did. And then I just click on this embed. And now my video will be here for my students to watch. I'm going to save and publish. And now in student view, my students can come in here, they see this video, and they can watch it. And they can toggle on the captions down here in the corner. Yeah, so the question, we got a question in the chat about my media versus Kaltura. These essentially, my media and Kaltura are the same thing. It's just called my media because it is a storage space for all of your videos and media that you create. But the tool that you're using to get your videos into that my media space is Kaltura. So that's sort of the difference there. All right, does anybody have any? Okay, hold on just a second. A bunch of questions just came in. Hold on, let me get back to read these. All right, there was a question back to Zoom. I'll get to that in a second. So on the Canvas page, you're showing my media. If I do that on a course, will it mean that students will have access to all the videos there? So no. So that is actually the next kind of thing I wanted to show you all before we wrap up the workshop. So I mentioned 3 links here earlier. So the Zoom, My Media, and the Media Gallery. Your My Media is always going to take you to your own videos. So I could go in to anybody's course in this workshop and click on My Media, and I will only see my videos. So when a student is in your course and they click on My Media, they're only going to see the videos stored there that they have created. So it is sort of a personal storage space. Everybody's My Media is going to look different. It is tied to the individual using the Canvas account at the moment, not the course. The Media Gallery, on the other hand, is tied to the course itself. So the Media Gallery is a space where you can share the videos that you've created with other people. So we just went over one method, which is embedding them into a page or somewhere into your course where students can see them. You also have this option of the Media Gallery where you can share some videos with your students that way. So I did not mention this yet, but you may know from the last year that any Zoom meeting that you record to the cloud will automatically also get processed through Kaltura and then captioned through Kaltura. There is nothing you need to do for that. It is an automatic process that IT set up for you. So as you start recording your Zoom meetings, if you click on My Media, you'll see them start to show up there. So if you would like to share those recordings with your student in some way, your students, you can go to My Media. You can select the videos that you would like to publish to your media gallery for that particular course. I'm selecting them by checking the box to the left of the video. And I can go over here to this actions area and click on publish. And then it will ask me which course out of the courses I'm enrolled in do I want to publish it to. And so this is where you're taking your personal storage of videos that you've created and that you are going to share them in a space for a particular course. So I'm going to select my sandbox because that's what we're working in now. Click on save. Now you can see here now that I got a note up at the top that the media was successfully published. And if I go into my media gallery, there now are those 3 videos that I have selected. And so students, let me go into a student view. When students click on media gallery, they will be able to see the videos that you have published for them in the media gallery. So that is a nice, quick, easy way for you to share all of those Zoom recordings if you want to, that come through for any classes you may be recording. So someone says, if students are uploading media, how do we ensure that all other students can see that media? So I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that students can also publish their courses, or sorry, they can publish their videos to a particular course. And then you can use this My Media space for them to share. Other options may be to have them share it in a discussion board. They can embed it using that little rainbow Kaltura button into a discussion board, and other students can watch their videos and comment or whatever it is that you want them to do with them. But I believe that the students are allowed to publish, or not allowed to, they're able to publish their own videos to the gallery as well. All right, any other questions about Kaltura or the media gallery? I know that we did have that one question back about Zoom. I can cover that before we go, but any other questions on the Kaltura tool? All right, great. So that essentially covers what I wanted to share with you today. So we have a couple minutes still scheduled, so I can hang around and answer any lingering questions that folks have. But if you do have to go or want to go, thank you for coming. We appreciate it. There is a session evaluation form that CTRL is requesting that everybody fill out. I believe Lindsay will put that in the chat. There she goes. So there is a Qualtrics link there in the chat. We would appreciate it if you fill out the evaluation form for this session. All right, thank you all for coming. And I will go back and briefly answer this Zoom question, and then I'll take any other questions that we have to. All right, so Kathleen, your question is, oh yeah, so the question about Zoom, if you are setting your session to be a certain length of time, it does not cut you off when that time is done. It's just sort of a scheduling suggestion for your organization and for your expectations of your audience, but it doesn't, you could go for 5 hours if you felt like it. You have control to end the session. All right. Anybody have any other further questions? So Olga, your question about My Media, if you want to get to My Media to create the videos that you want for your course, then I would leave My Media in the left-hand menu, but or if you want students to be able to create videos for different assignments, I would leave it there.
So you do need to have my media made available when you create a video for
Mhm.
that class. Okay.
Yeah, so
Uh,
because even
uh,
though it downloads something onto your computer, in order to link it up with Canvas and make sure it's uploaded properly into Canvas and that you can use it in Canvas, you do need to go through My Media and then use that Add New button. I'll show it
Thank
again real
you. This
quick.
is really good to know. Okay, yeah, that's great. And then media gallery, if I want to put the videos for that particular course there and probably make them available to students at any time, besides linking them to a module or
Exactly.
in a
Yeah.
page.
Mhm.
Great, great. Yeah.
Yeah, there's sort of two different methods to get the same result, which is sharing the videos with your students.
Yes.
All right, somebody asked in the chat, can we stop and start a recording in Zoom? Yes, you can. There is where, I don't know where the control is now that I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, there is a pause recording or stop recording option that I have here as a host for this meeting. So the Zoom recordings, if you select record to the cloud, they will go to the cloud. So please don't put them as record to your own computer, because then it makes it a lot harder for you to share them with students. That usually takes, I would say maybe like an hour, maybe 2 hours to finish uploading. It depends on large part about how long your video recording is. So this one for this training is going to be about an hour and 15 minutes. That will take longer to finish uploading to Zoom, to Zoom's cloud recording area, than something that's like 10 minutes. If you use pause recording, it will upload as one video. If you stop the recording and then restart the recording, I believe it was as two. Right, let me see if there's anything in the chat I missed. Jonathan, I'll mark your name down too about the compliance with the captions. All right.